Ini tanahku, surga indah yang ada di timur. Ada sejuta senyuman untukmu di sana, dan kau rasakan bahagia hidup di sana. Aman yang kau rasa, damai yang kau rasa di tanah timur kita. Lebih lama di tanah timur Indonesia. Mau hidup lebih lama nikmati indah dunia. Mau hidup lebih lama di tanah timur Indonesia. Mau hidup lebih lama nikmati.
So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are hoping to have a rich hour with everybody. Before I start, I just wanted to say for this event, there is a simultaneous translation available. So there is a QR code that you can scan, and that's available in 2 languages, so in Portuguese and Bahasa. So there's a QR code at the back, but there's also for online participants, you can scan that so that you can follow with us as we have our conversation today. So we are holding a really interesting and exciting session. I think it's often a missing dynamic in a lot of the work that we do. But we also want to acknowledge a lot of the events that are happening around the world that have limited the participation for some people to be with us today. We're standing in solidarity with lots of people that are fighting for oppression. All oppression is connected. All injustices are connected. And so to honor that, we thought we would just spend a little moment connecting with people that aren't able to be with us today. And so if we could just observe a moment of silence and send love and solidarity to those that are fighting systems of injustice. Thank you, everybody. I think we collectively feel that art is such a powerful force for connecting with different people, for raising different knowledge and information in science and policy and society. So for this event, it's kind of a 3-dimensional event. We'll see some beautiful imagery, but we also have a graphic harvester online. So Jess Harwood is supporting this event. She's listening into the conversation and will be harvesting a lot of the discussions. So just to pause for a moment to connect with Jess. Hi, Jess, welcome. I'm not sure if you just want to give the audience an idea of what you'll be doing with us today.
Yes. Hi. So glad to see you all, and really privileged to be here. I'm calling in from Sydney, from Darramurrugal land, down under in Australia. It's very hot down here. We're in the middle of a heat wave, so climate change is on all of our minds. And I'm so excited for this event because I do primarily cartoons and comics on climate change and really believe that art can change the world. And I think the lineup today looks absolutely marvelous, and I can't wait to hear what everyone has to say. I'll be sitting here madly trying to capture everything that everyone says. I'll show you at the end. Unfortunately, I can't project it live because we've had a little technical issue, but what you see at the end is not the final product. So I encourage you to come back and look at the Resilience Hub. I'll make it beautiful and colourful and finalise it afterwards. But hi, everyone, and I'm really excited to be here.
So in addition to kind of visual harvesting, we also have a full sensory experience. We have a music harvester. So Nelmo Manuri will also be listening to the session and composing a piece of music for us, which is quite remarkable. So the final report that you get will have all of these different elements pulled into it, and we'll be sharing that on multiple different platforms. We also are connected with Dylan McGarry, one of our speakers, who's connecting online and can introduce themselves a little bit later. But really what we want to do today is to highlight the role that art can play and has the potential to play to cut across different disciplines, education, socioeconomic groups, and is really a shared language that we can all use to amplify kind of climate science, different ways that we connect with nature, different ways that we connect with each other. And it can really be used to communicate climate impacts and associated injustices that we are experiencing from multiple different vantage points. So the way that the session is running, we're going to speak about how art can be used, or engagement in art as a platform to introduce an issue. It can also engagement with art. So art is a medium to facilitate dialogue and express learning, and also engagement through art. So art is a means of transformation, and each of the speakers will highlight different components of that. And really the importance of art for catalyzing imaginations. So in this rapid scale and pace of change, we need to radically reimagine our futures. And we need to really articulate those visions for the future, because if we don't articulate it, someone else's vision will be imposed on us. And so art is a beautiful way in its multiple different forms and expressions to connect people across the world and in different spaces. So I'm going to hand straight over to Mundano. Each of our speakers will introduce themselves and then just pass on to the next speaker. Also, we've got some sticky notes. So in addition to all of the harvesting that will be done, we'd love to hear from you. If you want to doodle, if you want to write comments, if you want to do anything, we've got some sticky notes, and we can collect those at the end of the session as well. But straight over to you, Mundano.
Hello, good morning. Thanks to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here with these activists representing the Global South. I am Mundano, an activist from Brazil, where the COP30 will be held. Also welcome all of you there. And I am a graffiti artist and activist. I will be showing some pictures here. You can see me here with all these images and messages. And I have an invisible clicker. Let me do a test here, if it works. Okay, yes. So I do big murals, colorful, representing with art and activism, like this indigenous from the Amazon delivering messages. Here I am here again. But I like to give a context where I live in São Paulo. This ugly city, dirty city, São Paulo in Brazil is one of the places with the largest inequality, social contrast. And under this bridge, on the next picture, we have homeless people, over 50,000 in São Paulo just. And doing graffiti bring me to talk to these people. And I realized that they were doing a really important work 16 years ago. Please, next image. So they were collecting, doing recycling, collecting cans, bottles, but they are invisible, and they are mitigating climate change. So they push cars like that in the middle of the city cows, and they recycle 90% that everything that's actually recycled in Brazil, and mostly in the Global South is pretty similar. So I started really young, 16 years ago, painting those carts, doing graffiti as a mobile artivism, and I never stopped working since. And I painted over 500 carts, writing messages like this: my car doesn't pollute, I have an honest job, and that's become viral on the city, viral on the internet, delivering message. But I was doing a big mistake. I was doing this alone, and we don't have change if we are doing alone. So that's 11 years ago. I also invited 50 artists to do the same, a crowdfunding event in the middle of São Paulo, and this became Pimp My Carroça, a movement that now has over 2,200 street artists, activists doing the same, supporting with speaker, giving visibility and amplifies those voices. And 9 of 10 way speakers in Brazil has suffered from climate change, extreme events. And I'm doing big jumps because the time is short. But from that, we become a reference in recycling in Brazil, and we were able to create an app. You can think, it's a Uber of recycling, you can invite. No, we are the opposite. We don't exploit the workers. They are the owners of the app. They choose what we do on the app. And we were able to connect. We're more like the Tinder of recycling. You do the match, and you create a relationship with your recycler next to your house. And this is a big thing. Now we have registers over almost 5,000 of waste pickers in Brazil, in almost 2,000 cities in Brazil. And we were able to raise, before the pandemic, by 60% their earnings, just connecting the dots. And that's one example of the power of artivism. Let's go to the next slide. Now we are creating electric carts with renewable energy, so they don't need to it's really heavy. Sometimes they are carrying 500 kilos. So now we are developing. We have 9 working on testing, and it's really great. We have so many awards related to that, but that's nothing because the challenge continues. This is the Amazon River on the drought seasons, full of trash. I took this picture. Here, the same. We have Brazil recycle 100% of their aluminum cans because of the poverty, social inequality, kids. So the challenge is huge. And I talk about Brazil, but most countries on the global south are the same. Open dumps. It's a really tough challenge, but they are mitigating climate change every day because recycling saves water, energy, oil for plastic, all these things. And another, but I take this activism out to climate change. I will give more 2 quick examples. We have been suffering with sandstorm, Amazon is burning, the drought. Just to have an idea, one more. This is the Amazon River right now. It's the worst drought in 125 years. So Amazon is in a severe, extreme drought, and is getting worse every day. You can see the river come by this, but it was this size. And so another oil spill, people were taking out the oil, a kid doing that. And this is what inspired me to take my art to a next level. Also, this is the worst social and environmental disaster crime. It's a crime, not a disaster, crime that we have in Brazil with a toxic mud. And here I am collecting this mining waste as a pigment to paint this wall. A 800 meters wall in the heart of São Paulo in honor, in the memory of the 300 lives that we lost there. And this, another example of artivism, this was a big news on social media and everything. And also here, come one back. So this is the Amazon burning. I was here again, invading a farm to collect on the Amazon burning. I was collecting the ashes of the forest that you can see here. And the ashes were my pigment to do this massive wall with over 1,000 square meters in honor to the firefighters that also are invisible like the waste pickers. And now we give, this was big in Brazil and make a lot of impact, and now is on school books. People are learning art through that. And now artivism, that's a new word, now is on the Spanish dictionary, and they choose this picture as the iconic image from that moment. So artivism is real, can give real impact to change everything. Also I am with an exhibition open in São Paulo that I try to show this and create a experience. And with my art, for example, this is a meat with a tree inside, showing the impact of the cattle industry in Brazil. There is more cattle than people in Brazil, 245 million. And this is the deforestation big issue. And just continue, I keep painting with the ashes, with the oil from no spill. to give attention to all these causes. And then I have also this installation that's a food plate full of plastic, because we are eating plastic. Plastic is a big issue. And I'm so happy that kids, school are visiting the exhibition full. So I try to work on public space and inside space with artivism. And just finalize that, we can do simple things like this, delivering messages that another world is possible here inside the COP. And just finish, we'll need to be really brave, like this way speaker. We need to do a change. We will need to have this power. He's carrying a car to make a living. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Today I want to share about this. They are my cats. The number one is Mocha because he is brown color, so I give his name Mochaccino. And then Joey, since he came to my life, she always brings joy to me and brings three kids, Mocha, Mayo, and Coffee. Of course, I give their name because their color. Sorry if this is like a funny, but today I want to invite all of you to think about who we love or what we care about. Please close your eyes. Imagine right now they are standing standing in front of you and smile to you. It's nice? Okay, thank you. Please open your eyes again. I have a big question for us today. How we live with them if our earth is destroyed because of the climate crisis? How we live with them. So, for all the people we love, our family, friends, or maybe our pets, and everything we care about, I want to remind us to take action right now, no matter what our profession is. Because if we human can live in this earth, that means we have the power to either destroy or save and protect our planet, just our only home. As a woman, young people in Indonesia, we try engage young people with art. We invite them and show to them how young people to do something for climate action. For example, in one of the provinces in Indonesia is Nusa Tenggara. Their culture is almost always singing and dancing in every moment or every event. That's why we make Floba Moratas Festival. In there, throughout this festival, we use art for engage young people to take action, what we can do, what we love to do action. For example, we collaborate with musicians for speak with soft and simple message but to the point, because of course they have bigger fans. And we talk about how our local food we can adapt with that, and how our grandmother culture can protect our land, our ocean, our forest. And we talk about how indigenous people can protect our land too, our forest, our ocean, because they have a culture from their grandmother. With mural, we saw how the beach is, how beautiful our beach in Indonesia, but the other side, how the bad beach, because we human like make some trash. And in that festival, we do so much activity for engage young people and show to them as young people, if we want to live longer, we can do something with everything we can do. The second question is, what is the impact? After 2 editions of Loba Muratas Festival, there was no left. There was no waste left after the event, and more and more young people are willing to engage in climate action, and it's becoming easier to involve artists in this festival. With song, Tanpa Pamrih song, or in English, Selfless, we bring a message how forests protect us, give us everything what we need, but didn't give we didn't give it back, just like our mother. 1 year, this song published. Right now, almost 8 million people play it. And the artists give 15% donate for protect the forest in 3 years. With the Surga di Timur, or Heaven in East, we talk about how beautiful our land, and we want to live longer with everyone we love. And the impact with Tanpa Pamrih and Surga di Timur songs, ordinary young people who watch our music video, give positive comment and thanks to us because they are being reminded from us. So, as a human for this life, we don't know for the next life. Maybe we can be a tree or whatever. As a people, as young people or women, we can always want to live longer. Of course, eat good food, always party with no trust, if we do something right now for climate action. With everything, our capacity. I think that's all I can share today. Please standing with me. I want to invite all of you sing along a little bit with bahasa Mau Hidup Lebih Lama. And imagine right now, beside or in front of you, there is someone you love. And and we sing a song together.
Coba teriak kata bahagia, cinta, ini tanahku dan ini rumahku. Di dalam lubuk hati terdalam, ku bangga ada di sana, di tanah timurku, Indonesiaku.
And it's okay.
Indonesia, mau hidup
lebih lama, nikmati indah dunia. Okay, I think. Thank you. That's all from me, Dia Devianti from Hutan Itu Indonesia, part of sorry, I forget. Part of Voice Just for Climate Action, affiliate with Humanist by HIVOS. Thank you so much. And right now, please enjoy the session from Dylan Amphitheater, who joined virtually with us. Thank you so much. Virtual. Join us with virtual, Dylan. Oh. Okay, maybe Philemon first.
Just while we are waiting for, we have load shedding in South Africa, so our speaker is connecting from there and has been disconnected, but we will show a video that's linked to his work. For the new people that have just joined us, there are some sticky notes that we've passed around. That's just to capture your responses, your questions, to doodle, to just write anything that's, that comes to you while you're listening to the session. So maybe, there we go. Straight over to Dylan and Amphitheater.
Yebo ngani yami. Kungani unendaba kangaka ngolwandle thisha wami? Ngisayintombazanyana. Ugogo wami wayengixoxela indaba okuthiwa indlela yokuphila. Uyabona ugogo wami wayelapha ngesintu, eyisangoma. Wayeqondiswa amazwi okhokho bakhe ababekhuluma naye emaphusheni akhe. Uyazi ngiyakhumbula ngimbuza ukuthi kungani amadlozi ehlala olwandle gogo? Wonke umuntu unesikhathi sakhe kulomhlaba. Uma isikhathi sifika, sibuyela kokhokho bethu, endaweni yokhokho okuwulwandle. Emva kokuba umndeni wakho kumbele ngaphansi komhlaba, imvula icindezela umzimba wakho bese ikhama umphefumulo wakho uze uzalelwe ezweni lamaphupho. Lapho ubhukuda khona kumfudlana omncane. Uba ubantu nomfudlana. Njengedlozi elisalincane, uzwa ingoma yomfula wokuphila bese ukhumbula ubuntu baleyo ndawo. Ude wehle njalo ngomfula ulandela ingoma yogogo bakho abakubiza ekujuleni kolwandle emsuku. Ugeleza wehle njalo ngomfula ukhule ukhumbule uba ngubantu nomfula umuntu wasemfuleni. Uyabona mzukulu wami, yonke imindeni nezizwe zabantu zixhumene nezibongo ezahlukene. Imindeni yemimoya, isibongo sethu thina umkhomo. Uma umphefumulo wakho ufika lapho umfula uhlangana khona nolwandle, welula umoya wakho uthatha inkumbulo eziningi zomhlaba, uthatha inkumbulo eziningi zomhlaba bese ucula zonke izingoma zesizwe mzukulu. Olwandle kuningi ongakufunda futhi kuningi ongakuhlola. Kuyindawo ebanzi ecishe ingapheli yemfihlakalo, ulwazi nezimangaliso. Ubhukuda ujule ulandela ingoma zogogo abadala. Uma ufika kumthombo wengoma, uthola ogogo abadala bahlala khona. Uma uqala ukufika, basuke belinda ukwamukela ngothando olujulile. bazokwazi kahle ukuthi uyingane kabani. Uhlangatshezwa ngukhokho wakho ekulindile ekhalise kakhulu. Lapho ungena uba idlozi elikhulu, idlozi lasemanzini, wamukela izinkumbulo, izinkoma namaphupho abantu bakithi. Msukulu, uyokwazi zonke lezimfihlo, kodwa ke leyo imfihlo yangesinye isikhathi. Uhlala lapha phansi isikhathi eside kakhulu kuze kube ngolunye usuku lapho izindaba zabantu emhlabeni zicindezela, futhi udinga ukwabelana ngolwazi lwakho. Uzwa ingoma entsha, ingoma kamama olandelayo, uyahlabelela ukuthi umphelezele. Ubhukude uziyofika ezweni lakhe, uze untande uphume emanzini, uthathwe yifu likubuyisele ezweni. Ekugcineni umphefumulo wakho uwune emhlabeni, umama wakho olandelayo akuphuze. Laphaya olwandle oluncane esisweni sakhe uyakhula, ukhule bese uzalwa kabusha. Uyabona mfana wami, njengokusho kagogo, leli zulu wonke umuntu afuna ithikithi lendlela eyodwa ukuya kulo, alikho lapho izithunya zevangeli ezisithembise khona. Cha, liphansi laphaya, ngaphansi kwamagagasi.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Yes, okay, great.
Yes, we
Sorry
can.
about that. It seems like sometimes technology has its own agency and my Wi-Fi decided to just cut out right at that point. So I'm Dylan McGarry and I'm representing Amphitheatre and Shells and Spells, a collaboration between a public storytelling artivist network that's Amphitheatre and Shells and Spells, an animation studio. The animation you just seen took 5 years to make. It was gifted to us by traditional healers or sangomas in South Africa. And we spent so much time making it because when you're tending and working with sacred knowledge, there's a real level of care that needs to happen. And so there was a lot of call and response with the knowledge makers. The thing about this film that why we have it in this hub today around artivism is it was the first animated film or piece of artwork that was used as evidence in court in South Africa, along with our other play, Lalelo Lwandle, Listen to the Sea, and another film called The Blue Blanket, all of which you can see online on YouTube. It was used in a court case against Shell, where small-scale fishers, ocean defenders stood up to the big oil and gas giant Shell and to the government who is selling our ocean for oil and gas as part of a big blue economy, oceans economy master plan, with very little consultation of local communities and indigenous communities. And we wanted to share this here today to show the ways in which art can be able to kind of bridge a gap. In this case, it was the gap between intangible heritage, which often is not recognized in court because it's hard to show it because it's intangible. It's the things that are sacred or spiritual. And so this was a place where we as artists worked in collaboration with the indigenous knowledge holders to try and enter this intangible heritage into the court case and into policy. And it cascaded. We've been able to, we launched this film at the United Nations General Assembly in June in New York. It's gone on to show at FAO and now here. But the thing that's really exciting for us is the ways in which we can echolocate with each other in solidarity, and using art as a way to challenge evidence hierarchies and what counts as knowledge and what counts as evidence. And I think the big point I would hope to make is that often artists get sidelined to just be communicators of science or climate science or policy, but art in itself is a form of research, and that artists are researchers, they are thinkers and theorizers, and that we really need to see in artivism a kind of a push to see arts practice-based research entering in a lot of the policy change and the activism and the responses to the climate crisis. So thank you so much. And if you wanted to learn any more, you can find us on amphitheater.com.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. The wall? That's why I wanted. Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Philemon Odhiambo. I'm a puppeteer by profession. I work with an organization called Kenya Institute of Puppet Theatre. We do puppets under a project called VCA, which is supported by HIVOS, and our project is implemented in informal settlements, particularly in Mukuru kwa Njenga. Can everybody say Mukuru kwa Njenga? I knew very well you would not be able to pronounce it. And that's why I want to take you to Mukuru kwa Njenga in Kenya. And we have to go right now. I suggest either we can walk, we fly, or we run. We are good runners. Which one do you choose? We run. We run. No, we don't have much time. We are going to fly. And we are going to fly in a very, very easy way. Can we put our hands together and just do like this? That's not right. Okay, let us fly. We are not yet there. We are not yet there. Let us fly. Yes, we are in Mukuru kwa Njenga in Nairobi, the capital city of my loved country, Kenya. Here, basically, we find a group of community members who are eager to learn and eager to push the agenda of climate change. And can we be able to see how we go about sensitizing, educating, mobilizing, and creating awareness on our communities on the issue of climate change?
Sisi ni Kenya Institute of Puppet Theatre tukishirikiana na Mukuru kwa Njenga Climate Change Working Group.
Wananchi hoye! Hoye! Wananchi hoye! Hoye! Na nyinyi mbona hamujibu? Wananchi hoye! Hoye! Mheshimiwa wapi? Juu! Mheshimiwa wapi? Juu!
Tufanye kitu ndio huko chini tuweze kuishi vizuri. Mbona vile maji na janga kwa nyumba, takataka zimeblock kila mahali.
Asante sana mama boy kwa kusema tulifanye kitu. Ndio sababu nimekuja hapa tufanye nini? Kitu.
Na mimi kama waheshimiwa ambao mmechaguliwa, ninafaa mwende kwa bunge usiwakilishe manake watoto, wamama, wasiojiweza. Ndio wanaumia sana.
Kabisa. Yes. Nimesikia hiyo.
Alafu mweshi. Unajua hii shida inatupata kila wakati. Kila wakati mvua ikinyesha mafuriko. Tunatoboa manyumba, tunatoroka huku. Sasa unajua mweshi, nyinyi kama wabunge unafaa kushikana. Alafu mpeleke mswada wapi? Bungeni. Ili sisi kama wananchi wenu tupate kufaidika.
Hapa inabidi tucheze na viongozi. Viongozi watafute vijana, wakalishe vijana chini, tukue organize, tunaweza tengeneza hata group za kuchukua matakataka, kusafisha barabara. Hiyo inaweza saidia kama kijana.
Kwamba lazima viongozi wetu waweze kuwajibika na wachukue jukumu lao seriously.
Thank you very much. Let us give a clap for the team. And you know what? We were in Nairobi. And for us to discuss COP28 issues, we have to come back to, where are we? Where are we? We have to come back to Dubai. We have to fly back. Can we go? Exactly. We are now in Dubai. Basically, I want to take you through the process of creating such information. Our work is basically to mobilize communities, sensitize them, create content, and basically go out to sensitize other people that might be able to support climate change mitigation issues. The community basically comes together to help us create content. So we invite what we call community resource person to give us content. We don't just come up with our issues. The issues come within the community. The community members themselves play the process of creating that particular content. And then we do script writing, which communities are involved. They write their own script, and then we put that through the puppets now. So the issue we take back to the community are their own issues. But in the process, they also get to find solution to the problem that we highlight. So is the community trying to find solution to their problem and trying to find action that need to be taken by leaders, as has been highlighted, by community resource person, by local authority, by policy makers, and by collectively involving the community to take action in the problems that affect them. Basically, that's what how we go about transforming our community in Mukuru kwa Jenga. The beauty is that the community has been sensitized. They have now a coalition of partners. They have a movement that works toward advocating for their right when it comes to climate change issues, climate change mitigation, and adaptation. Ladies and gentlemen, with that short presentation, I welcome you in Kenya, 2024, when we'll be having our own community COP, to be able to sensitize and highlight what affects us in the informal settlement. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to all the speakers. I'm sure there are lots of questions. I realize I didn't introduce myself, so I'm Nadia Sitas. I'm with the Climate and Development Knowledge Network at South North. And this session has been organized together with HIVAS, just to bring a whole lot of different people together that are working with art to highlight, to kind of democratize science and highlight different issues and opportunities in different communities. I'm going to hand over to Ndinda to provide some further insights.
Thank you so much, Nadia, and thank you everyone for joining us in this beautiful session. We want to open this session for questions from the participants to our beautiful and handsome panelists. So we can take 3, then we will be able to move to the next session and see what our cartoons and comics is doing on the other side. So anyone with a question, comment? Any other hand, so that after the mic, we can move the mic to the other corner? Okay. Oh, yes, behind there. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So, hi, I'm Shuchi. I work with the Global Resilience Partnership, and Nadia and I have common interests, and we've talked about this quite a bit. I've also spoken to some of your colleagues at Amphitheater, and I was curious to learn more about how intangible heritage went to court and was accepted as evidence, because that's something we're unpacking quite a bit. We're recognizing the need for rigor and the need for holding plural ways of knowing, and this is a question that has emerged time and again, but mixed methods is just not enough as an answer. So I was curious to know more about that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Ruti. So
Dylan,
how it entered in was...
Dylan, can we pick all the questions? Then we just have all of you answering after all the questions. Thank you.
Hello, yes. I'm David Gonzalez from Global Resilience Partnership as well, and also working in coastal communities in locally led projects as well. And one of the, I would like you to also expand a little bit on the role of emotions and touching on emotions through arts to build these transformations that are required to address climate change.
The last question from, okay.
Good morning, everyone. I am Mazoud Huda. I am a doctor in economic agriculture. I am a member of the association APDIP in Tunisia. I am the project manager of the project Gender, Climate Change and Community Adaptation in the VCA, and also the project manager with the project Rizoclima with SSN. So, my question is, are these art projects that defend our climate, do this have an impact on the government policy? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We can start with Daylan. Then if you have anything you need to respond to, then you can respond. Kindly go ahead, Daylan.
Thank you so much. Yes, so with regards to how we got intangible heritage, how we work with it and how we enter it into the courtroom, I forgot to mention that the fishers, the indigenous leaders won that court case. And I think what's really important is that we built strong solidarity networks with civil society partners, including lawyers who were representing the small-scale fishers and the indigenous leaders. And really, that court case was really won on the affidavits and the kind of brave stance that the fishers took, and they put their necks, stuck their necks out against government and Shell. What we did was really help find the gaps with their lawyers and with the fishers around what was not being seen by policy. And this was really the sacred relationship to the sea, the idea that for many South Africans, that as the film shows, that the ancestors live in the deep sea. And so mining it and years of seismic surveys and explosions would be disturbing not just to ecosystems, but to sacred knowledge and to sacred sites. And so really the kind of practice we use is called call and response. And it's an iterative process of ongoing calling and responding with knowledge holders, using art as a way to kind of grow that picture or that idea. So in that film, there were many iterations that eventually all parties were happy with, that could then enter into as appendices to these affidavits in court. So, and then you see in the judgment from the judge that there's a recognition of the ancestors living in the sea, and the court says it's not the place of the court to argue whether the ancestors live in the sea or not, but it is their place to make sure that Shell and the government are consulting indigenous knowledge holders around intangible heritage. So I hope that answers your question. It's an ongoing process of calling and responding, and I think it's making sure that artists stay in constant dialogue as part of their ethical practice, ensuring that every iteration that they make has a chance to echo back to the knowledge holders or the customary rights holders, and in as many opportunities and entrances and exits as possible.
Thank you, Daylan. Philemon, do you want to take the role of art in policy?
Yes, I can basically give a scenario in Kenya. And for the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of development, particularly in terms of policy and support towards climate change issues. In our case, particularly, this project is implemented in our area for the last 2 years. And within that particular period, we've seen how we've been able to mobilize local leaders, members of county assembly, both at the county level and national level. And they have just signed a commitment to support our informal program, and particularly the community in terms of allocation of finances to go into mitigation adaptation and addressing issues that relate to climate change in this particular informal settlement. So I can say through the work, through the advocacy work that we've been doing, yes, it has a lot of influence and impact on how leaders understand policy issues and resources that needs to go into that. And I'm happy that the leaders themselves sometimes come to see what we do and sit with us to be able to discuss how we can help them. What is coming out, even the leaders themselves don't understand so much this issue we are talking about, climate change. So they also need education. We do a lot of capacity building to community members, to community leaders, to members of county assembly, so that they get to understand. And through that commitment, I believe we are going to address some of the challenges that faces climate change and environment conservation issues in our informal settlement.
Anyone to touch on the emotions, questions on the role of emotions?
Yeah, so completely the thing about emotions is nice, because we are in all these COPs, we seen that numbers and science maybe didn't reach the impact. So we need, for mitigating climate change, to stop that, we need all the tools, technology, science, but of course we need art. You can see from the music, what she saw, show the impact that reaches. I feel the painting with the ashes, also we were able to have a big impact on the media and have time to talk about the Amazon burning time. Sometimes, when you show like a big report on science, that took years, a lot of time, they just give a note on a small part of it. And with this, we all were able to get into school books. Now they are learning about it. So I am sure I have several cases, I don't have time to show here, but that art can do much more impact to hack the media, to hack the social media, also to have celebrities engaging, to share for millions of people. So with one painting, one idea, we can have much more impact than a lot of investment and touch the people on the hearts. And just adding about the government thing, with the app that we create with Artivism, we were able to create a new data that from an informal sector that is huge. Just to have an idea, is estimate that could be 1 million waste speaker in Brazil and 100 million all over the world, but they are invisible. So creating this data, we were able to pressure government to give rights for them to give food during the pandemic, because we have their contact, we can mobilize. So just one thing, and also not the government, but now we are giving pressure to the brands, the polluters that put all these packages. They need to pay the service of the waste picker are doing. They talk all about ESG, they are sustainable brands, but the one that are doing this on practice, not in a speech, is the waste picker. So with the data and the pressure of civil society, and with a lot of art, we were able to impact government and also the private sector, because the polluters must pay.
Thank you so much. Ati, do we have time for one more question? Only one? 30 seconds? Okay. Josh, 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you. I'll make it quick. And this is a bit of a comment, but also a question to all of you. And it's a lot to do with the production values. I think across the board, whether it was music, whether it's your art, whether it's your production, Dylan, we notice fantastic production. And I think that plays a big role. I think it's a pity that when we talk about cultures and histories that are stored orally, they're still referred to as intangible. To my mind, they're not intangible. The fact that they're not written down should not make them intangible. But in your case, Dylan, in particular, how much does the sheer quality of the production you did impact on its being accepted? Was it accepted simply because it was a story that was true or that it was so beautifully done? And I really like that you pointed out that you were very careful in the process of taking that story that has existed for generations and transforming it into this particular format. So that care is there, but for this kind of art, the activism, the voice to be accepted, there's a very high threshold in terms of the quality for people to see it and appreciate it. So sometimes it's not so much the message, but the way in which it's done. So if it's high quality, then it might be accepted. So how do you deal with that balance as an artist? How do you not lose the message because you're trying to make it a high quality production?
Thank you so much. That's a really fantastic, thought-provoking question. I think just on the production value, what you probably don't see and what's invisible when watching the film is that there was a 4-year theater process that came to that film. And we created that film because we had budget for further theater work, but it was lockdown and COVID, and so we moved to animation so we could continue supporting the story. Maybe to answer your question and to answer to the policy one, is that one of the things that is essential to us as artists is creating, yes, a high quality artwork and performance or production, but our real goal is to creating a third space around participation. And one of the biggest gaps we're finding in policy change and in implementation of policy is how poor participation is for citizens. It's often people swooping in and just giving presentations and then leaving and saying that they consulted communities on them giving up their rights or selling their land for mining and so on. And it's really this place that we are trying to conjure up. So before we made this animation, we had spent a lot of time performing a play that's based on similar concepts and complexities around the country for 4 years. Which then led us being able to make the play. Being able to spend time like that allowed us also the play to kind of build resources so that we could produce something at this quality. But I must also say that we couldn't afford this production value of the film. So much of the work of this film was done in kind. Many artists and animators really believed in the film and actually offered their time for free, which is a really sad reality for many artists, is that they often are expected to work for free because we don't fund the arts in this kind of work enough. And I think it's a really important point, is that we only managed to make this film in the form that it is because of really generous gifting of people's time and effort and creativity. But I don't think that should be the case. People shouldn't have to give up their work in order to do this kind of work. So I think part of the climate finance work is also really financing artists so that they can do this very powerful production. And the intangible heritage thing, it's exactly it. It's not intangible for us and for many people who are experiencing it every day or working with customary rights holders. It's just intangible to the systems of power that create these knowledge hierarchies and decide what counts as evidence and what counts as knowledge and what doesn't. And we have a lot of work to do to challenge that. And we've also seen making art as policy briefs. We've created theater scripts that we actually submit as policy briefs. And we've created animations as policy briefs and even exhibitions. And I think we need to encourage artists to be able to do that and support them and the capacity around how to link themselves to policy processes.
Thank you. Dia?
Hello. Thanks. Okay. Okay, I just add a little bit with art, especially with song. We just use simple message but to the point. Yeah. The problem is our activists sometimes we want bring the whole message in one production. Because of that, we have to do together with our capacity, with we can do. If with music, we just one simple message and touch the audience heart, and that's make them feel like, oh, it's relate for me, and I can do for this whatever I can do. Just like that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the people with questions, comments. We have sticky notes. You can write your question, your comment. Then as we walk out of the room, you can stick them on the flip chart, and we will make sure that we capture those comments and beautiful questions in our report. So before I push it to Jess, who is online, we've picked a few things from our artists. One is that artists are offering solutions to problems we are creating as people, sharing stories of climate change with what our communities can relate with. In return, the communities are also taking action to make the world a better place for all of us. Artists are also researchers, so when we look at artists, we should not look at them as only disseminators of information, but also they can do research. Artists can also be used as evidence, a case of South Africa, and also art is about co-creating with the communities, and in return, we get to have local solutions which the communities can relate with and they can own in the long run. So thank you so much. Jess, are you here? This is your opportunity to show us the draft images you have for our event.
I'm here. I'm trying to share my screen. I hope you can you see that?
Yes.
Is it coming up big?
No.
Okay, hang on. I had this problem last time. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, oh gosh, try something else. Hang on, I'll try and open it again. No luck?
No luck.
Oh dear. Okay, I'll stop my share and I'll just give it one more go. Can you see that now?
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so everyone, that was the most inspirational session. My goodness. I have been sitting here madly drawing, and as you can see, I've tried to capture as much from each of the speakers, but you guys are just absolutely awe-inspiring and incredible, and I couldn't get it all. But I'll just briefly present to you what I've got. Mandano, thank you so much for talking us through your street art practice. Wow, I really heard that emotions are very important to you. You have art with heart. And I love the way you've actually used the materials that have come from climate disasters and environmental destruction in your art as well, and collaborated with other artists for Pimpure Karoka. And I know I'm not saying that correctly, but thank you so much for sharing that practice. I've learned so much from you in doing that. Dia, wow, I love that you started with your cats. I am really motivated by my love of koalas, being an Australian, and so I really do think of animals when I do my climate art as well. So thank you for that. And I just absolutely got from you that climate action doesn't have to be serious. It can be joyous and beautiful and really, give people a good time. I love that you had parties and festivals as part of your climate action as well. And thank you for sharing what I think I've got I might have got it right, but I'll get feedback from you. Nikmati Inda Dunia, enjoy the beauty of the world. Thank you so much for that beautiful song and message. Dylan, my gosh, what an incredible animation. I got goosebumps from watching that and the fact that it was co-created with that call and response method for cultural safety, and it was a gift by South African healers that just made it all the more incredible. And also that it was used as intangible heritage in a court case. You really showed that art is a bridge between sacred knowledge and policy. And I absolutely love that you are advocating for art being a form of research itself, not just for communication. And that's something that really speaks to me when I do my comic journalism in Australia, talking to people on the front lines of climate change. It's an incredible form of research. research. So thank you so much for sharing that. And finally, Philemon, wow, the fact that you actually work with communities and create the content for your theatre and with the puppets with them, and in doing that, you're creating solutions and helping the community find their own solutions to climate mitigation and adaptation. That is so powerful and an absolutely incredible process. So thank you so much for letting us fly to Nairobi with you. I've tried to sort of put that journey in there as well, and also your education, the mobilizing and raising awareness through your puppetry, just an incredible form of climate theatre, and part of the solution as well. So thank you so much, everyone. This is not the final product. I will be sitting here and making it beautifully colourful and nice, and also talking with the speakers to make sure I've got everything correct. And then I'll share it with you all, the final version, a bit later.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jess, and looking forward to a beautiful cartoon and comic presentation. Thank you very much to our panelists. It was good hearing from you and learning a lot from you. Thank you so much, our participants. You filled the room. We are super excited. We feel loved, and you can feel free to engage with the artists outside here as we pave way for the next event. Thank you so much. So we can give them a last round of applause.